Sup, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit about YouTube gaming. If you don't know what that is, that's supposed to be the Google/YouTube version of Twitch TV. It was just released on August 26th, and I told people in a video, I was even told my dad about this, that I was going to stream on the first day that it came out, no matter how much of a shit show it was going to be, and I did. So if you guys were there for the stream, I got over 1,000 viewers. So if you were one of those 1,000 viewers, or 100, like 1,100 viewers, however many there were, thank you for watching. I hope you had a good time. I did too. It was a pretty good experience, and so I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about YouTube gaming, the pros, the cons, and kind of what I pretty much expect is going to happen in the future. Now, I'd like to first start off this video, the short version of this video. Actually, let me just do a TLDR. I don't really think that YouTube gaming is going to be able to compete with Twitch TV under the current business strategy and I guess like business plan they have in terms of compensating broadcasters. So that's basically what I think. I'm just going to say that right now. So I want to start off the shorter version of this video, which is the good things about it. And so let's talk about the main good thing about it. I think that the actual layout of the site, it's done in HTML5. Twitch TV is not. And so that gives YouTube gaming an advantage. Twitch TV is going to upgrade to HTML5. And as I've said before with this stuff, is that competition does breed excellence. And so hopefully the existence of YouTube gaming will, I guess, get Twitch TV to upgrade to HTML5 more quickly, but we'll see how that goes. So I do think that the site layout for YouTube gaming, it looks professional. You know what I mean? It's like, it looks like a site that like, okay, wow, this is really well put together. But then once you start looking into it and actually start trying to navigate it and use it, you realize that that's not really entirely what's going on. And that's one of the problems that I had with it. An example for this is that there are a lot of things that you would think that if you click on this name or this word or something like that, it would actually be a hyperlink and it would take you to something else. And it doesn't. It's like there are things that you think you click on, they're links, and they're not, and then vice versa. It's very kind of hard to intuitively understand and navigate through the site and find the kind of content that you're looking for. On Twitch TV, it's very easy. The game with the most views is at the top. You know, the top was at left-hand corner, and it just goes all the way down from there, and it says the type of game, and people, streamers are able to aggregate their streams throughout the different games that they want to. So if you're streaming Mario Party or something like that, you just go ahead and type in, hey, I'm streaming Mario Party, or you type in Mario Party 5, or I don't even know what Mario Party they're on, probably like Mario Party like 15 by now, and type in there Mario Party 15, and then that's going to pop up with all the other Mario Party 15s for any potential viewer that's interested in watching that type of a game. And so I think that that's really one of the advantages that Twitch TV does have over YouTube, but YouTube does have, you know, you guys also need to remember this is version 1.0, and so this thing was just released a couple of days ago, and so the existence of it hasn't really been around for very long, and so we can obviously expect, if we were to compare Twitch's versions, Justin TV actually, because Twitch TV was Justin TV, it was renamed or rebranded or whatever, you know, if we were to look at Justin TV version 1.0 and then compare it to YouTube Gaming version 1.0, we'd have a much more accurate comparison, but you know, again, it's just back and forth, and let's not really get into that too much. A point that I'm really trying to make is that YouTube Gaming has a very professional looking website, and was very good. The website looks really good, but it is still kind of harder to navigate than Twitch. Personally, I prefer the look of the website more than I do on Twitch TV, but I guess that really kind of also depends. Twitch TV, their website layout is more of like a meat and potatoes. You know, like you've got like your sidebar here, and it's got like, you know, your profile, your messages, who people you're following, and everything like that. And you know, it's got the what do you call it? Sorry, the actual like screen that you're watching, like the stream, and then under it, it's got like all the information about the stream, and then on the other side, it's got the chat, right? And so it's very simple, very easy to use. It's like somebody who has never been on Twitch before can click on that and instantly understand what's going on. And I think that that's something that YouTube Gaming really has to work on, is making sure that the site is more intuitive than it is now. But it does look good, and so that's something that I would prefer. Now, a lot of my viewers said that the delay on YouTube Gaming was a lot less than the delay on Twitch TV, and so I would consider that another advantage that YouTube Gaming has over Twitch TV. But again, I consider that also a very minor thing. It's not really, I don't think, that big of a deal. And so I wouldn't really say it's really all that important. A lot of my viewers did enjoy, I guess, like the YouTube gaming experience. And so I would say as a viewer experience, maybe Twitch TV is, or YouTube gaming is at least comparable. And some people did prefer it over Twitch TV. And so the viewer experience is, I would say, pretty good. But I would really like to say, and another thing before we really get into the negatives, is that one thing that YouTube gaming really does have going for it is it's owned by Google. And you guys might not know this, but Google, they've got a lot of money. Okay, they've got a lot of money. They have a lot of resources. They can do a lot of stuff. And so I think that that's really going to help them out a lot. And, they do have options. And, like just because it's a multi-billion-dollar company, maybe Twitch is by now, but comparative to Google, it's not. And so YouTube does have a lot more resources than Google, than Twitch does. And so I will consider that another advantage. Now, the last advantage that I really want to talk about is, I guess, like the type of broadcasters that are going to be on YouTube and are also going to be on Twitch TV. Twitch TV is a few years old, but it hasn't really been around long enough for people to have built up the same following that they have on YouTube. And so I think YouTube came out in like 2006. I don't really remember. I think I remember watching videos on there, and I was like right whenever it did come out. And back then, that was like almost 10 years ago. And so people created their channels then, and they've been building this, this following, this notoriety, this like, I guess, like internet e-fame that's actually for some people translated into like, I guess, like IRL fame. There are people on YouTube, like PewDiePie has like 30 million, 35 million subscribers, and like he gets, I think like Twitch gets about 100 million views a month. That's what I read, and I think PewDiePie gets that much alone in a month. And so obviously, YouTube has like these like superstar people that have like 30 million, 10 million, 20 million, 5 million, even like 1 million subscribers, and there are tons of those people on YouTube. And so each one of those people brings in their own huge audience. And compared to Twitch TV, if somebody's a really big streamer on Twitch TV, they've got about 300,000 followers, maybe 500,000 would be pretty large. And I would say the largest channels have around a million followers. I meant followers earlier. I don't think you can really say how many subscribers you have. I actually have no idea. But anyway, obviously you have that. And so that's really going to give YouTube gaming a real advantage because they do have those people. And it's not just individuals, it's also companies. There's like Rooster Teeth and Screw Attack. And so whenever I was on YouTube gaming, I checked, and one of the websites that was on, or one of the channels that was on, was Screw Attack, and I had like 15,000 people watching them. And, so they have these people, and I know that there are other people on Twitch TV who have that, but, again, it's just probably like a spur of the moment thing. And these people, whenever they go online, they broadcast that out to 5 million, 10 million, 20 million people, whereas compared to on Twitch TV, when somebody goes online on Twitch TV, it's only broadcast to maybe 500,000 people. And so there's just a much larger potential audience, and YouTube is still more well-known than Twitch TV. And so all of those things are really advantages that YouTube has with those, really big superstar people that, have been creating YouTube videos for nearly a decade, and they have just this huge following, and, they automatically have that going for them, right off the bat. And so that's really going to help YouTube gaming out a lot. And that is a big advantage that they do have over Twitch TV, is they're just much more established. And really now let's talk about the negatives, because that's like really kind of what most of this video is going to be about. I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't go better, but I'm really not surprised. I think that the main problem that YouTube gaming is going to have is that it doesn't really have the same broadcaster incentivization than Twitch does. I think that on YouTube gaming, you're able to play ads on your during your streams, and so that's one type of way that you can generate income. And guys, let's not really beat around the bush here. Let's not pretend like we're not in reality here. There are a lot of people who stream, and almost all the people who stream seriously, like more than like maybe a couple hours a day, a lot of them streaming is like kind of their job. And so they need to be, they need to get money from this. And we can argue, all day long whether do people deserve to make money through playing video games or not, but it's really irrelevant. At this point, this person stands to make a lot of money, on Twitch TV, and not as much money on YouTube gaming. And so like if you're going to sell something, are you going to sell it for $100 or are you going to sell it for $50? It's really kind of simple. And so, people always are going to follow the money. And I think that YouTube gaming doesn't really create that same monetary incentive that Twitch does. And so YouTube gaming has the ads. And I think that that's really the only way that someone can monetize, I guess, like their content, their themselves streaming on YouTube gaming, whereas Twitch TV has, whenever I think about 4 different ways to monetize content. For one, you can play ads if you're a partner. 2, you can have subscribers if you're a partner, which is more money. 3, it's very easy to solicit for donations. And again, guys, I really do not want to hear, I know people are going to say it anyway. It doesn't matter what your opinion on the donations are. It doesn't matter what that is. It's what is a better incentive, more money or less money. It's real simple. And so anybody who's a streamer, and it's like that's their job, like Swifty, this is like he lives in the gaming house. This is like what he does, is he streams. And so what's he going to do? Is he going to make, like, let's say, $10,000 on Twitch or $2,000 on YouTube gaming? If you've already got like kind of your career or whatever you want to call it in broadcasting built around a certain amount of money that you need to make, you can't just downgrade that income and expect that would be okay with the person I guess you're trying to convince to come over to your streaming service. And so you've got the the ads, the subscribers, and then also even now, like, this is something it's just very recently is that Twitch TV is partnered with Teespring. And so if somebody has like a partner channel and they want to create t-shirts for that channel, if enough people place orders for those t-shirts on Teespring, and so they create this design, people place orders, and if enough orders are placed, the t-shirts are printed. And so Teespring now makes money, Twitch makes money, the streamer makes money, and also the people who are buying the t-shirts makes money. Everybody wins. And so this is another way that streamers can make more money through Twitch TV. And of course the last way is let's see, the streamers, donations. That would be the last way. Okay, because donations was 3. And so these are 4 different ways that you can, I guess, like, generate income on Twitch TV, and really only one way that you can generate income on YouTube gaming. And I do want to say that there are ways to where you can solicit for donations on YouTube gaming, but it's not really as obvious, and it's not really as overt as it is on Twitch TV. And so again, it's harder for people to really make that money. And if they weren't making the money, a lot of them wouldn't be streaming in the first place. And so YouTube gaming really has to do something to incentivize broadcasters to either come over from Twitch to YouTube gaming, or start, if they're like somebody like me that doesn't really stream either way. Like I'm pretty much always going to be streaming on Twitch TV until YouTube gaming. And there are other problems that I have with YouTube gaming. It really doesn't have anything to do with the money. And I'll talk about that in a minute, because it's an even bigger problem for me, and I'll explain why in a couple minutes, as I said. But they've got to get people, incentivize people and broadcasters to create the content. With any of these things, like Twitch TV provides the medium, and but without the broadcasters, Twitch TV doesn't really have any reason to exist. And so there's like this like both people are winning here. There's like a biology word for this. Symbiotic relationship between like Twitch TV, the company, and then also the streamer, and then the third tertiary person would be the viewer. And so all 3 of these people have to all be satisfied. And over here YouTube, I'm sure, is satisfied because they're getting money and whatever else. But this broadcaster isn't really getting a whole lot of stuff out of this. And so in order for somebody to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna set aside 3 or 4 hours today to stream, they've kind of got to get something out of that, or at least for some people that's the way they feel, in order for them to do that on a regular basis. And if you go on Twitch TV, it's the same people streaming all the time. Like there are people that are streaming like 8 hours a day, and you just can't devote 8 hours a day every single day to something that you're really not able to recoup your losses on monetarily, because it's just not really sustainable, especially if you live in the United States. You just can't really do that. Obama does not give you enough money to do that, okay? Even despite what people think, food stamps are not that much. And so, people cannot really do that, and, they have to generate some form of income, and Twitch provides a better avenue for them to do that. And so, also another thing is that I don't really have a Twitch TV partnership contract in front of me, but what my understanding is that there's supposed to be some sort of non-compete clause that is in the Twitch TV partnership contract that somehow says that you're not supposed to stream either for profit or at all. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I do not have this contract in front of me, and so if you know this, if you know that I'm wrong, or if you know that I'm right, please let me know. I saw a lot of other, very noteworthy streamers talking about this, and so I believe that it's true, but I'm not entirely sure. And basically, you sign some sort of a non-compete clause within the contract that says that you're not really supposed to stream, I don't know if it's for profit or at all, on other streaming avenues. And so, because of course that would be competing with Twitch TV, and that's kind of the same thing that a lot of networks make you sign whenever you join their network on YouTube. And so again, like, that's another limitation that people are not really going to want to move over to YouTube gaming. And obviously you can see why. If they're already a partner, it could potentially be a violation of their contract. Now, the next thing that's also very important, that's a very big concern for me, is that YouTube has a very aggressive content ID system. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's like pretty much whenever somebody has, like, let's say, I have like one of my old videos on my old channel or something like that, and I've got like Metallica or like, Black Sabbath or something on it, and it automatically IDs the song as Black Sabbath, and that means that I can no longer generate revenue from that song. Well, if you stream on YouTube Gaming, or you stream on YouTube at all, and the copyright ID IDs that you're playing copyrighted music, and this actually happened to somebody, this is pretty funny, is it happened to somebody, and what happened to them is that they were streaming on YouTube Gaming, or they were streaming it, I don't really know if it was on YouTube Gaming, but it was like very recently, so it probably was, and they were streaming on YouTube Gaming, and they were playing a game, and they had their stream shut off because their game had the in-game music on, and the content ID system identified that music and turned off their stream. And so all kinds of ridiculous shit like that's going to happen. And so really, that's a very big risk for other people, and it's also another limitation that individuals have whenever they're broadcasting on YouTube Gaming that just doesn't exist on Twitch TV. On Twitch TV, people play all kinds of music, and there's not really a problem. You get your VODs muted, but not a lot of people watch VODs anyway. And so, whenever you are streaming, you don't really have, like, I've never seen anybody get in trouble for playing copyrighted music or anything like that. Even like very big streamers, play copyrighted music all the time on their streams, and Twitch TV doesn't really seem to be doing anything about it. And even if you aren't a partnered streamer, you can play whatever you want. And so these are all advantages that people have going on to Twitch TV, and these are risks that just don't exist on Twitch TV. And again, so it's just more reason. It's like you're going to be making less, you're getting less out of it, which really correlates to less money. And you're getting less out of it, and you're also at the same time taking a bigger risk to get less out of something. It's really kind of a no-brainer why a lot of people aren't streaming on YouTube Gaming. I honestly would consider the whole YouTube Gaming thing kind of a flop, honestly. I checked earlier right before I started recording this video, and there's one guy who had like a really big channel. He had like 1 million subscribers or something like that, and he had like 2,000 viewers or something like that. And besides that, there was nobody else over 1,000 viewers on the entire YouTube Gaming channel. And so maybe the the combined total of everybody streaming on the site is maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people. And compare that to Twitch TV, and there are multiple people on Twitch TV that have more than that just by themselves. And so there are all these other advantages, and that broadcasters have, and that also that viewers have, because if you do subscribe to the channel, I mean, you get those stupid little emotes, and I don't know why people do that, but people love that shit. Like, I don't know why. And another thing, it's good I remembered this, is that Twitch TV has kind of, they've already defined the streaming game. Whenever you think of streaming, you think of Twitch TV. It is synonymous with streaming. So now that, it's like if you think of videos, unless you're watching porn, if you think of online videos, you think of YouTube, okay? It's just pretty simple. Or, I mean, besides ISIS executions and Russian dash cams and people dying, in that case you think Live Leak, but besides that, you're going to be thinking YouTube. And so Twitch TV has already defined streaming, and they've already defined I really don't want to use this, they've defined the streaming culture. They've got Kappa, they've got Bible Thump, they already have like kind of the way streams are supposed to go. And because they've already defined what streaming really is, and they've matured streaming, and they've nurtured and fostered this environment and this culture and everything, YouTube Gaming runs a really big risk of either not being able to do something similar, are, or being derivative, and I would say that either one of those is going to be something bad for them. And so all of these things kind of come together to put YouTube gaming at a really big disadvantage coming into this market, and Twitch TV just has all of these advantages over them. While YouTube gaming does have big advantages, they really need to work on their broadcaster incentivization to get people, to move over from Twitch to YouTube, because I don't know anybody who's doing that, and anybody that is partnered on Twitch TV probably does this as some sort of a part-time job or maybe even a full-time job. And I'm going to say this again because I don't like getting into this because it's ridiculous. It doesn't matter what you think that they should or shouldn't get paid. As I said, if you're going to get paid to play video games and then, somebody else is like, oh, hey, instead of getting paid, do you want to not get paid? Ha! How about that? Sounds great, huh? No, you're not going to do that because it's stupid. And so, and again, also, on top of not getting as much money, you also have more limitations and more restrictions on you. And so, YouTube gaming, just has these very aggressive content ID, copyright infringement systems, and YouTube almost always sides with the copyright holder over the broadcaster or the content creator. And so, I'm very careful myself with making videos with any sort of content that is not Blizzard content or content from a game that I already know has some sort of allowance or exception within their legal contracts to allow people to monetize the content of their games on because on Blizzard, for example, has in their contract I think it's a TOS, Terms of Service, EULA. I'm not really sure legal. It's one of the legal ones. Okay, I've read through all of these. They say specifically that there is an allowance, there is an exception, and it's already stated that if you want to go ahead and partner yourself on YouTube and monetize content that's made by Blizzard, that is okay with them, and it says it on there. And so I've even had people report my videos that have Blizzard content for copyright, and I've had to send a link to that, and I've had to resolve that copyright issue with YouTube. And so that's a very big risk that people run on YouTube, and there isn't really a competitor for YouTube really in terms of just straight up making videos. Twitch TV is broadcasting, and as I said before, there's not really a whole lot of other really big video sites. And so obviously, if you're going to be making videos, you're probably making videos on YouTube, and so everybody pretty much has to be dealing with this. But whenever you have something that always sides with the with the copyright holder and not with the person who's actually generating the content for the website, whereas at the same time, everybody that I know that's tried to get a hold of Twitch and do things and interact with the Twitch staff or something like that, they haven't really had too much trouble doing that. And it seems like the Twitch staff are much more available. If you guys ever tried to contact YouTube, I've tried to contact YouTube, and until I got direct email consultation, because whenever you make a YouTube channel, there are certain benchmarks that you meet, and once you meet that benchmark, you get certain allowances and exceptions and things that you can do that you couldn't previously do. And one of them is direct email consultation. I don't really think that that's a any big real secret. And so before I had that, there was basically no way that I could get a hold of anybody at YouTube. There's no phone number I can call. There's nothing you can really do. And so compare that to Twitch TV, that seems to be much more open and available to broadcasters. It just again is more things that Twitch TV has that YouTube doesn't really have. And I really do like YouTube. I've been making videos on YouTube, on this channel for I don't know, about a year and a half or so, maybe a little bit. It's probably a year and a half, somewhere around there. And before that, I was making them on my old channel since 2008. And before then, I didn't have anywhere to put my videos when I was 14 and 15. I remember putting my videos on fucking MySpace and thinking I got 100 views. I had the biggest dick ever when I got 100 views on some. I made a video real quick. I made a video of myself blowing up tater tots in my backyard. That video got 300 views. I felt so good about that. And so honestly, YouTube has really kind of given me and a lot of other people an avenue to create these videos, and I'm very thankful for that, and I'm really glad about it. And so I really hope that YouTube is able to improve YouTube gaming, because right now, as it stands, their business model just doesn't support broadcasters enough in order to incentivize them broadcasting on YouTube gaming over Twitch TV, and that's really what it comes down to, guys. Twitch TV has already established streaming culture. They already have another thing is they already already have like the League of Legends tournament set up. Like they've probably got that shit locked down with the developers, whereas YouTube Gaming might or might not have that, but it doesn't really seem like they do. And so they already have this established credibility within themselves, and it's all of these little things that kind of come together that's going to make it really hard for YouTube Gaming to really kind of either overtake Twitch TV or I don't even know, like maybe just like be like another site that other people use. I'm trying to think of like kind of like an example of that. It's like back in the day, like some people use MySpace, some people use Facebook, but then Facebook just overtook it and nobody really used MySpace anymore. And so, is it just going to be two separate sites? I'm really kind of curious to see, and honestly, I'm curious to see what you guys are going to think. What did you guys think of YouTube Gaming? And another thing, I forgot all about this. There's a lot of things I've been thinking about with this YouTube Gaming. Like, I mean, this is really interesting for me, because I've been making videos since forever, and like, streaming is a cool thing, and so like, I really like the whole idea of this, and so honestly, that's probably why I'm pretty kind of semi-excited about it. It's like on like your broadcaster dashboard on YouTube, the chat is like, it's like on my screen, like I got a 27-inch screen, okay, just for example, okay, and this it's like as long as a Dr. Pepper can. Like actually, whenever I'm thinking about that, I'm making the biggest idiot of myself in the world because you guys have no idea how big this is. Look, it's not very, I'm just going to tell you, it's not very big on the screen, okay? And so I can't really read chat effectively, and what I had to do is go ahead and open up my own stream and pause my own stream, so I'm looking at myself, looking at myself, and, watch the stream, watch the stream chat and read it off there in order to communicate with you guys. And so it's all these little things that kind of just make it a little bit more difficult to stream on YouTube Gaming. But getting on YouTube Gaming, I'll tell you this one thing right now, is that I was able to stream, like I had no problem, like getting OBS set up to YouTube Gaming. I got it set up the first time. It was not an issue with Twitch TV. It took me like 20 times. But again, maybe that's just because I've already done it on Twitch TV and I understand what to do. But either way, YouTube Gaming, I think that their biggest weakness is broadcaster incentivization, and if they can lock that down and make broadcasters feel like there's something that they can really get out of this, aka money, and guys, again, that's why they do it. That's why somebody like a company like Rooster Teeth, they make money off of these videos. And so if they're going to do something and they can't make money off of it, it's not profitable, they're not going to do it. It's real simple. And so there are all these other people who feel the same way, on Twitch TV. That's like their lifestyle is built around streaming, and they know how much money they're going to get. And so, they're not going to go over to YouTube Gaming unless they're getting that much money. And I'm saying this over and over and over because that's the most important thing, right? And that's why I do with a lot of things is I try and say them over and over and over so people don't miss the point. That's the real point of this video, is that the broadcaster incentivization is not there. It is not there for YouTube. And, until it gets there, you're not going to be seeing a lot of people moving over from Twitch or moving out from just making videos into streaming as well. And so hopefully they'll do something to do that. As I said before, competition breeds excellence. And so I really hope that we can see some advancements technologically in terms of like our own, like YouTube, like I tell you one thing for certain is that we are going to win. Like me, you, everybody else, like we're going to win out of this whole deal. Okay. YouTube Gaming or Twitch might not win, but us as broadcasters and viewers, we're going to get a lot out of this because they all have to up the ante on each other in order to entice people to use their site. And so that really that's always good for us. And so I just really hope that this encourages Twitch TV to maybe move up to HTML5 and some better VOD recordings and just other things like that are just better. And YouTube Gaming to again incentivize broadcasters better and all that kind of stuff. And so guys, future for us, I'll probably be streaming on Twitch TV. As I said, I really don't want to I don't want to have to deal with like the copyright stuff. It's like if I want to play music on my stream, I want to do it. I'm just not really going to deal with all that stuff, and the chat thing and everything, I'm just not really going to deal, because again, I don't have a partnership with Twitch TV. I'm not selling t-shirts, okay? So it's not like if I'm going to make more money off Twitch TV, there's nothing to do with it really for me. It's just for the other people who are the actual streamers that bring real audiences. I might get 1,000 viewers or something like that, but somebody else gets 10,000, and so it's like 10 of me. And so for that person, the money does matter. And so, hopefully they will increase the broadcasting, broadcaster incentivization. Until then, I don't really see YouTube gaming really becoming any sort of a real threat to Twitch TV. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to be streaming on Twitch TV until further notice, until things change or get better with YouTube gaming. Anyway, guys, I wanted to make this video and kind of level with you and telling you about how I felt about YouTube gaming and also Twitch TV and kind of comparing them. I made a video about this before, and so I wanted to follow up with it, after I've streamed, after it's been out for a few days, to where I can really look, and I've been reading all the articles, reading everything, and seeing what people are thinking, and, hopefully YouTube gaming will really kind of step up their game, and that will encourage Twitch to step up their game, and, we're all going to win in the long run. Anyway, I think it's going to come down to broadcaster incentivization for YouTube gaming. Final thought. So that's pretty much all I got. Let me know what you guys think. How was your experience on Twitch or on Twitch? How was your experience on YouTube gaming? Let me know how you think this whole thing's going to play out. It's always interesting for me to read your comments about these kinds of things. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I got. So thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.